delegates coming through. I don't think Ted Kennedy is going to announce himself to the floor, and I think that don't you guys think that's the case? I don't think McCarthy has enough to carry him through.
Well, you're talking about Joe now or Gene?
Gene McCarthy,
right.
And Gene McCarthy.
Right. Okay.
Oh, he's jokes a lot. He jokes a lot. He was talking about Joe McCarthy,
sorry,
was a senator from Wisconsin, and in the McCarthy era.
Now, Al, we've actually been here in the broadcast booth, a little bit cut off from what's happening out there. You have been out on the floor. Can you give us some idea of what the mood is of the delegates out there?
It's terrible on the floor.
Did you get stepped on a lot?
I got punched in the stomach. I saw Dan Rather getting carried off the floor. It's kind of indicative of what's happening out on the streets. I think, as Abraham Ribicoff best said to the delegates here, he hates to see Gestapo-like tactics here at Winterland. No, not at Winterland. On the convention floor, rather. And
no, I'm not Dan Rather, as a matter of fact. I'm Walter.
Can we cut down to the floor, because I'd like to. Is the Ohio delegation, of course, the Nebraska delegation went all to McGovern because of late Senator Kennedy's assassination, and
some people just don't like to celebrate New Year's Eve. Some people prefer political gatherings, political conventions, and it's sort of a mental block thing. I read about it one time. It's sort of kind of a mental block that they just can't deal with as festive an event as the closing of an institution like Winterland, a performance by the Grateful Dead, let alone the Blues Brothers.
I still am in 1968, and I still believe that this is Chicago 1968, isn't it? Because I think that I can't believe they're getting rid of Winterland, and that this isn't Chicago in 1968.
Well, Al, it is true that the whole world is watching. And here, do you want to wave to anyone out there?
Hi, everyone, and I just hope, it's terrible what's happening out on the streets, and I think that I can't believe it. Can't believe it.
Is this inspirational? Is this sort of an event you come to get material, you know?
Well, a lot of comedians do political type of materials. They do come to political conventions.
That's how they get material.
And they do get material because you find that your delegates are funny. So, you know, you get different kinds of character types of delegates.
People are funny.
Adlai Stevenson Jr., you know.
He's very funny.
I think Adlai's going to be coming here to do 5 or 10 minutes with us, as a matter of fact.
He's very funny, Adlai Stevenson. Now, Adlai Stevenson's father, Adlai Stevenson
Senior,
the second, was quite a wit. And Morris Udall, who's down on the floor, I believe, knows more Adlai Stevenson stories than practically anyone. So if we could just cut to Morris on the floor, and he has a... There he is.
Here's Morris. He's looking... I think he ingested some of those chemicals that we were talking about earlier on in the evening.
Well, Morris, of course, is the type of candidate who I think in 1976 will have a lot to say about backpacking and solar energy.
Well, 1976 is years away in either direction, no matter how you look at it. What else do you foresee for either the future or the past?
Well, I certainly think that Gene McCarthy will continue in politics and maybe quit the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which will puzzle everyone, and go on to write poetry and teach at major institutions and lecture for about... At first, he'll get about $2,000 or $3,000 a lecture, and then probably go, I don't know, and maybe it'll stay the same.
Now, let's go way out on a limb here, just for a moment, just for the sake of argument. Let's look as far ahead as 1979. I know that this is really far off, but what do you see for 1979?
1979, I think that you'll see, well, if Humphrey wins, I think that 1979 will be a good year. I think the outlook will be good. And I say if the Democrats don't win, if Nixon wins, 1979 will be a bad year. I'd say a bad year. Or maybe a Midland year if, say, Nixon should be elected president and then escalate the war, continue the war actually longer, and continue the bombing, and then maybe appoint someone like, God forbid, Henry Kissinger to be his foreign policy advisor, well then 1979 will be a very good year, I think.
Thank you, Al. This is Al Franken, who is here with us on camera. Some political insights into what's going on.
We've just been joking around. Should we let them in on it? Should we let them?
I think some of the hipper ones have, picked up on it. Let's let them
We've
all
just
in
been
on
joking
it.
around.
Let's
This
flip over
really
all
isn't.
the cards and let them
know
what your line is. All right.
This isn't 1979. This is actually 1968, and we're back at the convention. No, okay, no, this is Winterland. That's it. Okay, we're at Winterland. It's Winterland is closing. Is that what? That's what's on every New Yorker's lips. I can tell you that. People in New York couldn't believe it when they heard that Winterland was closing.
They flew out here in droves. You all came out here from New York.
Am I running away from? Oh, here. Okay. Here. Oh no. Anyway, we were actually on radio still.
We were on the radio. We were on TV, Channel 32, KQEC TV.
The audio portion is still on the TV.
Well, this is the thing. Like before television at conventions on the radio, people would kill time by talking. But then and that was tougher, because like I remember when Al Smith was nominated in 1924, it took like 30 ballots, and the radio commentators just kept talking on and on and on and on, trying to kill time until the next ballot was in. The next ballot was in, and people finally turned off the radio.
Well, fortunately, Al, there's absolutely no need for that, because we have some really exciting events here, such as our interview with you, which I believe has just concluded.
Oh, people are saying, oh, it has.
Well, for many people. And
certainly those who've snapped off their radios at your suggestions in the time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to do that.
He was only kidding, folks. Turn them back on.
Turn them back on,
Well,
because
Al,
there'll be lots of festivities here, and there's lots of excited Democrats and also young socialists, I'm sure, and apolitical people and anarchists and young doctors and suburban people here who have come to see the Grateful Dead.
Well, Al, thank you very much. And I think Al is going to continue to go on for a while, but we do have to make time for a concerned viewpoint from the other side. This is why I'm rushing you, Al.
By the way, I do want a tape of this.
You'll have to talk to the station manager about that.
How much do comedy writers make?
Well, I think that ended it.
I hope that was okay. I was just flying. I don't know what happened.
Thank you, Al Franken. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we are back here backstage at Winterland. I'm not as tall as I look on camera. It's because they're shooting in a very strange angle. Here we are. Here backstage at Winterland. I'm Glenn Lambert. That was Al Franken of the writing staff of Saturday Night Live, also from the Franken and Davis Show. It's a segment of that. And I'm here with Norm Weiner. We're live on KSAN in San Francisco, on the radio, and also on KQEC Channel 32. And here we have a concerned viewpoint from the opposite side.
Of what?
Well, what he was just talking about.
I didn't hear what you were talking about.
The music, man.
I can't hear anything. We're deaf.
What?
Huh?
Well, let's talk about something else then. You gentlemen are, of course, Paul Cantor.
Of course.
And
Craig.
Chiquiso
All right.
of Jefferson Starship. How are you? Happy New Year.
Having a
Happy
good
New
time.
Year. Happy New Year out
Very
there.
good time.
How'd you like the Blues Brothers?
Great. I love the Blues Brothers.
Paul, we've been looking through a list of all the shows that ever happened at Winterland, and Jefferson Airplane and Jefferson Starship
we
were
played here a lot.
probably, other than the Dead, probably the group that played here the most over the
One
years.
of our favorite places to play. Sounds terrible, but the feeling's great.
Yeah. The number one New Year's show, according to our list. I guess you guys did the first New Year's show ever, 1967.
I can't
Can you remember? I can't remember 1967 either.
All the drugs.
At that point, Craig, were you coming out to see Jefferson Airplane shows?
Yeah, I used to come to a lot of concerts here, and I'd make it in to actually see the bands if I didn't get my ticket stolen out in front. But that was the old days. That was when I was naive and would carry my ticket like this. Anybody who goes to Winterland now knows you don't do that. You always carry it inside your jacket. That way nobody grabs it.
I hope that story didn't take place tonight, but I'll bet it did.
Well,
I had to give me my tickets to get in.
yeah, you think when you're in the Starship you can get into Winterland, right? Not so. Not true. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for getting me in tonight,
It's a
man.
crazy kind of night, yeah.
Paul, do you remember the first New Year's Eve at Winterland?
I can't remember anything, man.
Norm, he didn't remember it a minute ago.
Do all the hallucinations go away when Winterland closes?
No,
I forgot.
the ears stop ringing, I think. I hope.
Maybe it'll take 12 more years, though. And in fact, we're waiting for the Grateful Dead to come on, who are going to make it ring. Well,
Around midnight.
things are going to start a few minutes before midnight with a pageant. Bill Graham has some incredible stuff up his sleeve, which we'll find out what when it happens. The Dead will be coming on right at midnight. It should be amazing as usual.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Good
Happy
to
New
see you.
Year.
Happy New Year
New
again.
Year,
We'll see you in
fans. Yeah.
'79.
Thanks. Well, I
Norm.
tell you, Glenn, this is a star-studded array. I'm impressed. Everybody's out for this one. This is a major event, not just in the Bay Area, but also certainly nationally. People flew here, and I'm sure they flew first class. No question about it.
Well, Norm, we're getting ready to go to some more videotape, which will be showing some tape of Santana that was recorded at Winterland.
Just a few months ago. This is relatively recent, and you'll see some of Santana's most recent material that one could just as easily hear on their album. But you'll see it, too, and that's what makes this a lot more special.
I want to mention, for those who haven't caught on yet, that we are on TV as well as radio. If you're only hearing sound, you probably should turn on your TV. If you're seeing a picture but not hearing any sound, well, you could try turning your radio on. Or you could listen to the radio, listen to the TV sound and watch your radio. Or
Very confusing, Glenn, very confusing. But it's TV and it's radio at the same time, and I think that's the basic thing, right?
And right now it's KQEC Channel 32. Channel 9 is going to be joining us later on in the evening and
right.
continue with us all night.
And they'll be
Here live from
broadcasting.
Winterland.
And as I was saying, they'll be showing the Dead in their entirety for as long as they play, and a bunch of surprises. So we hope you stay with us.
In fact, we keep getting surprised here. We're backstage at Winterland, in case you haven't figured that out. It is an amazing scene. We're going to go to some tape back at the studio right now. I guess at this point we have about 25 minutes to go in 1978. The Grateful Dead coming on just around midnight at the conclusion of whatever it is going to happen. And they're going to play until maybe 5 in the morning. We'll be continuing with them on KQED TV, who will be joining us just past midnight. Well, I wish I could describe to you what is going on here because it's kind of difficult. Oh, we have someone here to bring on an interview. Sir, how do you do? Well, a lot of people recognize you. This is Herb Cain, for those of you who are not familiar with this gentleman. Herb, I'm Glenn Lambert. I'm from KSAM.
I thought you were Werner Erhard.
Oh, God, please.
Of course, he's a much younger man, of course.
Well, he used to be older, but he got younger. But
I mean, EST is probably the way to go, huh? Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. What is it, about 20 minutes or so at this point?
I don't know, I can't tell by my watch because I'm on the wrong batteries, connected to my pacemaker.
I have to ask you this question.
Yes.
Is it a tradition with you to come to Grateful Dead concerts on New Year's Eve in Winterland?
Well, I've come, well, not lately, because the feet go first, but I used to go to the Grateful Dead concerts in the old days when we were all middle-aged back in the 60s.
Except for Werner Erhard. Well, I guess he was then.
And tonight, the next one will be at Laguna Honda, I think. This isn't on the air, is it?
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, no one has told me that anything else has happened. That shadowy form there is a camera.
Why do you have to have a lot of light just because you're on radio?
No, this is TV as well. We're on KQEC. And we're going to be on KQED in a few minutes.
Channel 32?
That's right. KQED will be coming on at
I've
midnight.
contributed thousands of dollars to that station.
Well, here you are. This is your moment in the sun, or at least in the lights.
It's not exactly what I expected.
No?
I expected a much smaller studio, for one thing.
Well, the studio isn't very intimate, but you do have a large audience cheering you on.
And fewer people, and fewer exotic sounds and smells. That means 2 seconds or 2 minutes.
Well, it's either that or someone back in 1968 who's giving us a peace sign, but I think it means 2 minutes before we go somewhere else.
When did the Grateful Dead start? 1961, was it?
I think 1965 was around when they got started.
65?
They started under a couple of different names.
I remember that.
And you were there when it all happened, I believe.
Well, I remember all the park things and the Haight-Ashbury things. And of course, they're just part of the community. And Jerry Garcia probably has a little gray in his beard now. And they all become sort of, no, they're not senior citizens, but they're almost senior citizens. And where do they go from here? Where does Bill Graham go from here?
Well, Bill Graham is going to keep on going. It's just going to be somewhere else in at Winterland, and I think it'll be the same for the Grateful Dead.
I hate to see him leave Winterland because I think, well, this place isn't going to be torn down as far as I know.
No, well, no one seems to know what it is. It's Bill Graham's lease running out, and he hears news that it might be a community center, maybe a racket club.
Well, if Bill has a financial problem, I guess we can all chip in and help him out.
Well, quite a few people here have tonight. We have about maybe 5,400 people. That's the official estimate.
Actually, I don't feel as sentimental about this place as I do about the old Fillmore.
It's not the kind of place that has a history from another time. It's just kind of a large, anonymous
Now, this makes me
box
think of the Ice Follies.
Oh, okay. Well, were you here when the Ice Follies went on?
Yes, and all I can think of when I come in here is what an improvement this is over the Ice Follies.
Now, I have to ask you one thing. I learned this afternoon that there used to be an iceberg up in the balcony. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I think I married her, my second wife. We didn't really make it.
Well, thank you, Herb. We'll talk about that another time. They're signaling me that we're going to
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you.
And by the Chronicle, we really need the business.
Well, I'll be reading Herb Cain in the new year. We're going to go back to our studio to run one more segment of videotape. The Rolling Stones, Devo, Queen, and The Who doing a great version of Who Are You coming up on this segment. When we come back here to Winterland, we're going to be live on the stage, Norm Weiner and I describing the New Year's Eve craziness and the Grateful Dead.
Here we are back live on the floor of Winterland Ballroom. We've got about 10 minutes until New Year's Eve, and it's 1979. The folks out here are waiting in wild anticipation, all gratefully alive, waiting for Bill Graham's extravaganza and the Grateful Dead, of course. And I hope everybody out there is having a good time, and I hope you'll whoop and shout with us because we're all one in spirit, of course. And speaking of being one in spirit, here is Chet Helms standing to my right. Chet Helms, how are you tonight?
Oh, real good, man.
Chet, you could probably be called the other rock entrepreneur of San Francisco.
Well, so some people say.
What's your feeling about the closing of Winterland? What does it signify to you?
Well, you know, the old always sort of dies away for the new. I see it kind of organically, you know, like a flower, you know. It's like there was a seed somewhere back there in the 60s, and it grew up, and it flowered, and it wilted, and the petals fell off, and there are a lot of seeds, you know. And when you feel the energy with the people out there, you know this ain't the end of anything, you know. This is the beginning of something. This is the beginning of people taking the responsibility again for themselves, for for life and entertainment. I think Bill's been hung with the ball for too long in a lot of ways. You know, Bill's done a wonderful thing for this community. And
turn so the folks can see you a little bit.
Okay. Bill's done a wonderful thing for this community, you know, in carrying the ball as long as he has. But, you know, what happens in terms of the magic of people getting together depends on all of us, you know. Not just Bill Graham or not just any one place, you know. And it lies on all of us to create these spaces where people can come together, you know.
So you think there'll be a place to take Winterland's place?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure. I'm not saying that I'm going to create that space. I don't think that's important, but someone will. I mean, since the beginning of time, men have sat down and played their feelings in music or dance or something for their fellow men, you know, and it's always unified people, you know. And I don't know. Anyway, that's
it, huh?
That's it.
Well, you must be a deadhead.
Absolutely.
Who isn't a deadhead? And that's what we're all waiting for. Everybody's down here, spirited, ready for New Year's Eve, ready to kick out 1978 and welcome in 1979 with the Grateful Dead. Let's hope it's a great year in San Francisco. We could use one.
It will be.
It will be. It will be. How we doing? Everything moving? Are we on the air? Oh, we're on the air. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Hey, you know, if you don't like the news in 1979, go out and make some of your own. Can we pan up here into the crowd? No lights? Because I'd like to ask the crowd how they're doing. How about over here? How you doing?
I'm fine.
You having a good time?
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What do you remember about Winterland? Do you have fond memories of this place?
I've only been here once, and that was 7 years ago.
7 years ago, and you came back for the ending.
Looks like it.
Have a happy New Year.
Thank you.
I think we have the youngest deadhead right here. The youngest deadhead. Who are you?
Hi.
What's your name?
Her name is Sky Olson. Mine's Susan.
Hi, Sky.
She's mostly waiting for the balloons to fall.
Oh, she likes the balloons, huh?
We wait for the dead.
You wait for the dead, and she waits for the balloons. And we all wait for 1979. Happy New Year. Okay, everybody get ready to pop your corks and throw your confetti and kiss the one you love, or the ones you love, because it's almost New Year. Save Winterland, somebody said. Hey, it's a Grateful Dead.
Welcome to Mars, everyone.
Oh yeah, Grateful Deadhead.
Of course. I hope everybody has a good time tonight because I know they will.
You know, it's sometimes hard to tell whether these people are Father Time leaving, you know, dead old year. Hey.
Like that tonight. Gonna have a good time tonight.
They're saying to have a good time tonight in case you can't hear them through their masks. But this, folks, is what we are all heading toward. We're all going to someday be Grateful Dead. Is it not true? Not in 1979, though.
No.
No, we're going to all be alive and happy in 1979.
Right here.
And righteous. And
right here in 79.
right here in 79. Well, are we almost ready for the Grateful Dead for Bill Graham?
Well, we're waiting for, Bill Graham declares when New Year's Eve actually happens, and when it's 1979, people can just put their watches and clocks away. When Bill has it happen is when it's going to be.
What time is it now?
Well, I don't know.
Let's get an official 5 minutes until New Year's.
That means any moment now that the pageant should
we
be
have
starting.
Guy Lombardo ready to play Old Lang Syne. The orchestra's waiting right over there.
Well, we have the Grateful Dead, which is pretty much the same thing, and they should be coming on
right.
at midnight, as
It's
we
like
expected.
the Guy Lombardo of our generation, the Grateful Dead.
They have played 6 out of 12 shows here at Winterland, Scoop. Here we go.
Something's gonna happen.
Happy New Year, Scoop.
Happy New Year, Glenn. Happy New Year, everybody.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody just wanted to say happy anniversary to his parents wherever they are. Happy New Year. Just a moment ago, the Bill Graham security people were keeping people in a circle around where we are. It is just becoming full of people right now. I'm just out in the middle of it. I hope you can hear me. New Year's Eve, 1978. And here's Norm Weiner. Hi,
Glenn,
Norm.
you wouldn't believe it. This place is chaos. We went, I couldn't even get on stage. And I work here.
Well, it's hard to tell, Norm, with that funny hat that you have on. You look like just all the other people around here, except for, well, some of them.
How do you like my tutor?
Well, the lights have gone out here in Winterland. I don't even know what they're picking up on the TV cameras with this kind of light.
And the crowd's on their feet.
We're picking up some pandemonium here. Everybody knows that it's coming right up.
And no one knows which way to look. People are lighting sparklers.
And the black lights in the ceiling are just setting people aglow. People are glowing purple all around us. In fact, some of them, I don't even think it's the black lights, Norm.
Well, as we were saying before, Glenn, of the 12 New Year's Eves that Bill Graham has celebrated at Winterland, 6 of them starred the Grateful Dead, and I'm sure tonight is going to be a night that people won't long forget.
That's 6, including tonight, and the Grateful Dead will be coming on right at the conclusion of whatever surprises Bill Graham has waiting for us. The bags of balloons hanging from the ceiling, I think, are going to play some part in it.
People who tuned in earlier were able to hear Scoop's interview with the balloonatics, the people who blew up all these balloons. All of them, I think, are a lot skinnier tonight than they were earlier today.
The people who blew up the balloons, you mean?
Yeah, the balloonatics, yeah. I didn't mean the balloons,
No,
Glenn.
I wasn't. I just wanted to check.
Everybody's looking around because you never know where things are going to start from.
Happy New Year!
All right, Happy New Year, San Francisco. Beautiful. Grateful Dead.
Coming right up. In fact, there's some tuning going on the stage. And it's going to be the Grateful Dead live on KSAN, Channel 32 TV. Channel 9 will be joining us in just a few minutes, and they will be continuing through the night on Channel 9. Stay tuned for 1979.
I was at at Bill Grimm's New Year's Eve show last year, Glenn, at the Cow Palace. When he had duplicates, he had replicas of the spaceships from Star Wars made. And he was in one of the spaceships coming from one end of the hall, suspended from a rope, I guess, from a cable. He flew in and hit the stage, intersected with a replica of Darth Vader's ship. And they collided on the stage as Bill Grimm stepped out as Father Time, disguised as Darth Vader. And the New Year's babies and the other ship, and I guess Luke Skywalker's wing jet. It was really amazing, an amazing show.
Well, Norm, I was here in Winterland where New Year's Eve happened half an hour later last year, as Bill Graham said, at 12:30. He came zooming over here, and he played the central role in another pageant, playing the Grateful Dead skeleton in an Uncle Sam suit. Last year, he flew down from the balcony, riding a Harley motorcycle. It stalled about 30 feet in front of the stage, and New Year's was delayed a little bit further, but he finally made it down. The Dead played. It's going to happen again. I don't know what Bill is going to be doing tonight, but it's going to be soon. It sounds like the Dead are in tune.
Hey, you know, Glenn, whenever the new year begins, as our colleague David McQueen says, it's always close enough for rock and roll, you know? Well, people are packed in here. We're standing on the floor at Winterland now. We were backstage before. Kind of sedate back there, but here, bodies packed against bodies, ready to celebrate that new year.
Hey, TK, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, TK.
How do we look, TK? I know what you mean. People have given me lots of opportunities here tonight. There may be more. I guess people watching on TV can't even hear TK. They probably think that you and I are talking to ourselves, Norm, instead of just to each other.
Aren't we talking to ourselves?
I don't know. I'm talking to myself.
Just listen to this crowd.
5,000 people talking to themselves.
Thanks a lot, man. Good shit, man.